Hey, welcome back to Rapid Flow. We launched Omniclock this weekend, and this is a detailed tutorial to give you an overview what a difference it makes when you can shift MIDI clock to your slave devices. I'm going to give you a demo today, but I'm also going to walk you through everything so you understand what's going on with MIDI clock if you're new to this, and so that you can hear for the differences and how incredibly useful it is when you can shift MIDI clock around. Now, we have a launch deal for our newsletter subscribers on this plugin this weekend, Friday the 8th of May. So if you're seeing this video, you can grab it right now for an intro deal of only $39 rather than $69. So thank you for subscribing also on YouTube and hitting your notifications. Let's dive in. Okay, so a common thing that happens when you have a hybrid studio is that you have some sort of a hardware drum machine like the MFB over here, and then you also have your DAW, and you want these two things to work together, right? So, and the way to do this is you can go to your Ableton settings and activate the so-called sync on the output port, which will send MIDI clock. And most of these machines can understand MIDI clock, and they'll synchronize to it. Right now, this is a very extreme case because I had to raise the buffer on my computer because I was overloading it a bit with the CPU and capturing on OBS. Normally, it'll be a little bit out. Now, let me pull this forward so that this starts to get tight with the DAW. Basically, so the MFB is playing in time with the DAW. And for this, actually, I'm just going to use the metronome, which I think will probably make this easier to hear. So you can probably tell it's really far behind. Let's pull it forward. Now we're starting to get there. Now the crazy thing is, while I'm on this window, I can't start and stop Ableton, which is insane to me because you're going to want to probably start it again to be able to hear. So this is one way to do this. And if you never add another plugin, especially limiters and things that have a look-ahead buffer and introduce latency, you'd be okay. But basically, things will drift. Some synths, sometimes even some patches have a different attack setting, etc. So going into the preferences of Ableton and shifting the MIDI clock there while you can't even stop the DAW to reset to 0, it's a total nightmare. And which is why a lot of people actually don't bother with this. But it's so worth it if you can actually get this to work well. So what trained me on doing this, or listening and noticing how crazy important this was, is the multi-clock. And everyone that I've spoken to that owns a multi-clock has used the exact same words to describe it: game changer. I've shown it a lot on the channel. Basically what this does is it's sending MIDI clock now via one of its MIDI clock generating outputs to the MFB. Now let me show you what I can do now. It always takes a little while to get going. And now I can shift the clock going to the MFB with this dial right here. Let me take it out again. Pull it back in. So once I realized how important this is for drum machines, but also for arpeggios and stuff, it completely changed how I work in the studio, and really literally it pulled all my music together and things started to groove, and I was able to express myself through the instruments the way I'd always wanted. So incredible machine, super, super cool. I've shown it a ton on my YouTube channel, but every time I've shown it, people have said, you know, very often, like, it's very cool, but man, it's pricey. Have to think about that one. So we started to think about how could we do something similar with a plugin. So check this out. This is Omniclock. And what this does is it creates MIDI clock. I can also map its parameters to a MIDI knob. Right now it's running double time, and the reason it's doing that is I forgot to remove the synchronization signal that I'm already sending from Ableton. We definitely don't want to do that. Then of course it's going to run, you know, super crazy fast because it's getting two clocks. We're generating our own clock. You see that? I can shift the drum machine anywhere I want, really, on the grid. So let's put it tight. Around there is nice. So not only can I do that, but I can also shuffle the drum machine with a whole bunch of different shuffle algorithms. Let me show you the 909 one, which is one of the best. And let me actually start yapping so you can hear. So what we're doing now is not only have we used Omniclock to synchronize this drum machine, but we're also shuffling its rhythm by shuffling the MIDI clock that it's receiving. So that is the basic function of it. Now let me give you a tutorial or an overview of how you set this up. So as I've shown you, there is different ways to send clock out of your DAW to slave machines. You can send it direct from Ableton. It works, but it has a couple of downsides, especially it's just very cumbersome and not something you can spontaneously do on the fly to pull things in and out of the rhythm, and you definitely can't shuffle it. To my knowledge, we're the only people that are doing that right now. The other way would be with something like a dedicated hardware box that again sends its MIDI clock to the machine, and then you have a hardware dial to do it. And the third way would be to do this with a plugin, which to my knowledge also right now we're the only company that has made a plugin for this. So right now you can see here, this is set to channel 11. My MFB is connected to channel 11. I would consider this done. Let me bring the music in a bit. But let's say now I wanted to add a Arturia BeatStep Pro. This is just connected via USB for the moment. And I can now go into this BeatStep Pro channel, grab my Omniclock, and I'm gonna tell it that I wanna use the Arturia's USB connector to synchronize, and I use these colors, the themes, to better know which device I'm using. Since the Arturia is white, I'm also using white here. That helps me to kind of make a bridge mentally. So now I can do the same thing with this little Arturia, and the way to do this is first set down a kick drum on the Arturia. I'm going to mute the MFB for a sec, and I'm synchronizing this now with the plugin. Let's have a listen. And I'm going to put this actually back to just having the metronome to make this easier. So the kick drum and the metronome should be on the same spot, right? We saw before that it was about 100, so let's do this. And it was about 20, I think. So in this case, actually, because it's USB, it's responding very differently. So we need the multiplier. I'm going to pull it so until it's tight with the metronome. Cool. So now it's tight with the metronome, and now I could use this to do maybe like a cool tom pattern over it, right? So let's have a listen. So right now I have the MFB clocking off of the clock, but I can also shuffle this. And of course, it would probably make sense to shuffle it in such a way that it is using the same algorithm, because then things will line up nicely, right? You notice how all of a sudden now we got the groove? Cool. And whether you synchronize something like the BeatStep Pro with its USB connector or with a MIDI connector, which you can also do, I've connected port 7, if I'm remembering correctly, to this via its MIDI adapter. Don't use the sync port, use the MIDI in port, and I'm going to switch its synchronization now to MIDI on the Arturia. So let's see if I remembered the port correctly. And as you can tell now, actually, the timing has shifted. It's not quite correct, right? It's like it's kind of in a weird spot. So I'm going to go back to having a blank sequence. I'm going to set down a kick drum, which just makes my life really easy for getting these things in sync. Let's do this. That's perfect. Okay, and now I can take those kick drum like test signals out, and I can make my tom again. So you have the possibility to synchronize either with MIDI or with USB. And as you saw, there's like big differences in how fast your CPU processes those kinds of signals, which is why we've given ourselves a lot of leeway with where we can shift these clock signals to always make sure things are super tight. The last thing I wanted to also show you is that you can also synchronize, well, this is like one of my favorite little sequencers, which is the Torso T1. This one I'm just going to do via USB, but this applies for something very similar similar to something like the Oxy, the Oxy One. I'm pretty sure that you can also send it MIDI clock via USB because it's, you know, it's built to slave off of Ableton the way I've just shown you when you set it in Ableton. If for some reason you cannot, connect its adapter from DIN MIDI to the little, you know, mini jack, and set the Oxy to listen to incoming MIDI clock on its MIDI DIN connector via its adapter, and then basically it's going to do exactly what the drum computer is doing now, which is listening to MIDI clock coming in. But we're going to use its USB connector just to make this quick and easy. And in order, again, to know what I've, you know, to get this synchronized, I've put down a 4/4 kick pattern, basically. And let's have a listen. And I'm going to mute the other things for a bit and bring up the Prophet, which is torso is routed to. I'm going to bring up the metronome. That's not what I wanted. This one. You can tell it's late. So we're going to need more range to get this in time. Cool, so now we're in time. Now I can take these out again, bring in my other sounds that I just made. And now I can start to add the way that it works with the T1. Let's bring up the music a bit. So this is the workflow. And again, maybe I want to give this some shuffle. Maybe I'm going to add some more notes so we can hear the shuffle better. Take that delay out again, and let me show you how this can all shuffle in time together. Let's bring a bit of delay to give it some funk. So that's the workflow. This is how you can synchronize your whole studio using a plugin and sending specific clock signals to your sequencers, to your synthesizers, to drum machines, and make sure that everything really lines up. And it takes a little bit of time to get used to this, to, you know, being able to do this by ear. But in the beginning, what you can do is either just listen to the metronome, put down clicks, and just put down a kick drum or something simple, one bass note on the downbeat of every quarter note, and record into the DAW and look if you're really tight on the grid. And if you are, then that's a good starting point. But sometimes it's really nice to push and pull things a little bit. So a lot of the time I do this by hearing and by feel, by mapping a controller and being able to listen until it feels right. And you'd be shocked how much groove all of a sudden comes into your music, especially when you combine it with all of these different super amazing, cool algorithms for groove. Let me go back just quickly to the drum machine to give you a quick demo of some of these groove patterns and what a difference it makes. Let me try this one here. Or one of my other favorites, this one. No shuffle? Shuffled. also really like the M60, of course. I hope that this helps you better understand what a difference this makes and why it's so critical when you're making music with external devices to be able to influence how they sit in your track against, well, obviously the metronome, but also just everything you've produced in Ableton, and be able to pull things forward and backward until it sits where it really feels like it's grooving. So this is Omniclock. This was a demo and an overview of what inspired it, where we went to with this, how you can synchronize different kind of devices to it. And yeah, like I said, there's an intro deal happening this weekend. You can get this plugin for $39, considering how much a synchronization box in hardware costs for this, and you get all the shuffle algorithm functionality. We're going to be adding a sequencer for plugins to this also, so that you can use this also only or in the box stuff. Right now, the workaround would be to send signals from MIDI from one of these sequencers that I've just shown you, and use that as the input for a VST plugin, basically. All right, that's it for me today. I hope that this was fun and interesting to see. Yeah, check it out. It's over on the link, which we will put in the first comment. This is not yet public on our store. This is just a special intro deal for our subscribers and our YouTube subscribers. If you just go straight to rapidflow.shop, you're not going to find this. But if you've seen this video and now you know how cool this is, go ahead, check it out. And yeah, there's also a trial if you want to test this on your system, but it's bomb-proof. We've tested it with literally like over a dozen machines and it works amazing. The intro deal closes Sunday evening, so if you've done a trial, don't forget to grab it up for the super special intro price. We hope you enjoyed this. It was amazing to make this, and it is so much fun to finally have detailed control over how your things groove with each other. I guarantee this will make a huge difference for your productions and how tight and cool your grooves can feel. All right, take it easy. We'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.